It's a new fighting fantasy book. Let's have a look at it. Hello and welcome to the Battle and Barrow, and yeah, it's another review type video. In this one we are going to have a look at the new fighting fantasy book from Ian Livingstone, Sir Ian Livingstone, Shadow of the Giants. It's the fighting fantasy 40 years this year, so let's get it down and have a look at it. And here it is. The first thing you are going to notice about this is just how good this cover looks. The Scholastic releases, to be honest, the artwork I have not been impressed with, from the covers to the inside, but this, oh my goodness, look at that. I mean, it's got a dude riding a pig, for goodness sake. It's really nice and detailed. It invokes that sort of fighting fantasy vibe with these houses, these half timbered houses. It's action packed. You've got these iron giants here pulling you in. It's beautiful. But before we actually do a review of the book itself, I kind of want to, on this tip, I've mentioned Scholastic, I want to do a sort of review of their format in general. So, back in the day, with fighting fantasy books, again, artwork on these were staggering. As a kid, I wanted to play this. Scholastic books, as a kid, I wouldn't want to play them, I wouldn't want to pick them up, and this sits proudly alongside this, I feel. But anyway, yeah, the format. So you'd come in, and at the front here, lovely artwork, of course, by Malcolm Barter in these books. You start off with the rules. Yeah, makes some sort of sense, but if you've never played a fighting fantasy book, but then the actual adventure itself doesn't start to a little way in, and then you're off. And your adventure sheet is sort of somewhere in between the rules and the start. So you'd have to do a bit of flipping to find your adventure sheet. What Scholastic wisely do, or should point out that Wizard books also followed the same suit. So they had the rules at the beginning, and then the adventure sheet half in between the rules and the start of the book. And they did add these handy random dice in the bottom. So if you didn't have dice on you, I got a 7. What Scholastic wisely do, and what we'll do is we'll have a look at this Port of Peril, and it starts with Port of Peril, and here I think you can instantly see what I mean about the art. This is the way I describe the art that they've used so far is very clip arty. Here, I mean, even Wizards, even though it's a redone cover, they sort of wisely went back to I think it's Martin McCann, Russ Nicholson, wasn't it, who did World Fine Top Mounted. So and it's very much in keeping, still very highly detailed. So I don't have the original Warlock Fire Top Mountain anymore. I need to get myself a copy again, but not as evocative as these, but still very detailed. And then I wasn't impressed with this, but let's talk about the format, because that's something they do get right. So what we have here is they've redone the map and they've redrew all the art in their book. So but we'll get into that in a minute. But you just have a quick blur. That's it. Just quick. What the heck is this? Boom. We're off to the story. Now, where's the rules, you ask? Well, they been wisely put at the back. Here, because if you're a long-term fighting fantasy player, you don't need to have them. This bit at the beginning is just letting you know that it's not a normal book, so if you are new to it, it will tell you to turn to the pages to get going with the rules, and that makes sense. And then right at the end is your adventure sheet. Again, clip arty adventure sheet. It doesn't work. This sort of artwork style does not work for black and white, but it's right at the back, so you don't have to flip for miles. I love that, and they handily retained the dice. But here, let's, before we go on, so that's a positive to Scholastic, and unfortunately that's about it for the rest of it for so far. Their artwork, their map redone, I never liked that map. Just something about it I didn't like. Who did it? Leo Hartis, sorry sir, I just didn't like it compared to... It's really close to the original. I don't know why, I can't say why I don't like it, because it looks like the original. There's something is off for me. The art by Vlado Kriazin is just not good for this kind of book, this black and white format book. I dare say if you're into this style of art and you see it in colour or somewhere else, you might like it. For me, I don't like this style of art. This is not my style of art, this sort of clip art. It's one, cartoony in a not good way. It's, you know, for me, and this is across the board really for modern art, even modern D&D art suffers from this. The backgrounds are just so undetailed. You look at something like a painting by John Blanche, Nicholson, Larry Elmore, and the like from those back in the day. Old man shouting at clouds situation coming on, but the background was just as detailed as the foreground without getting in the way of what's in the foreground. And to me, that's what makes a true artist, to make the background as detailed as the foreground but not take over your eye's attention. So this, whilst I kind of really enjoyed the story on this one, because it's like return to Black Sand, report of Zamba Bone, I didn't like the story on this. And here is The Gates of Death, and you know, this should have been a great book. And what is this cover? It's shiny. Okay, don't really want shiny. Don't put money into making this, put money into giving me good artwork. Format's the same, art by the same guy, so it is just... You know, so it just doesn't work. It's so dark where it's all black and white and flat. I just didn't like this style. I guess this is from Scholastic chose this artist. I don't know if they've worked with him before in other books, and that art might work for those books, but for here it doesn't work. So then went to another, again, really enjoyed the book, hated the art. Same with this. I think I've got some reviews of these books on. Now this time we are off to a better start. So same map. The artist in this is Robert Ball. So it's better, but I still don't think the style works in black and white, but it is way better. You can instantly see we're getting a bit more detail in places. Hey, I recognise you. But still soft is the only way I can describe this kind of clip art work. It's soft, there's no detail here. It's better, this is way better. We step in the right direction, but still not what I consider good. So Crystal Storms, Indiana Jones. Again, same format. No map in this one. I think this is by Eva Eskelin. Probably butchered that name, I apologise. We're going backwards to this clip art. So I kind of enjoyed this book. It's a bit more childlike, but a bit more whimsy. I detested the art. Really detested the art. It's not for me. So, and what I have heard is that Scholastic's re-releases redone some of the art, and that worried me. So I bought Return to Firetop Mountain, and I was worried. So I was thinking, oh, is this redone art? And luckily it is not. It is still got the original art in. So, you know, and boom, instantly we're back to this lovely, look at the detail. Look at that detail. it's night and day, isn't it? So here we go, the background buildings. Really nice and detailed, but does not detract from the foreground where I should be focused on. A true artist. You know, these deviant artists, they do sometimes good stuff, but they just don't have the chops, as it were. So that is a quick review of the Scholastic format in general. But how does that apply to the book in question? Well, we've already established that compared to all these cover arts here from the previous releases, this is a good piece of art comparative to classic fighting fantasy. Have to gog spine, that makes it stand out and pop on shelf, great. And just even the back, you can see this, the map on the back here is amazing. And you may be already noticing that this map looks slightly different to what we've just seen. We're going to get to that. So, here we are, inside. So even when you take this picture and put it into black and white, oh my goodness, it still looks good. So, good artists. We should have a look at the credits. Don't want to jump ahead. So, who is this legend of an artist? Who are you? Mike McCarthy. Well done, sir. You do a good art. Now, the map, you may notice, is now by Ryan McGee. And let's have a look at it, because it is amazing. Look at that. Okay, so I don't think this has a map, but I think Darkwood Forest has its own Darkwood Forest map, and not of Valansia. Top Mountain, did you have a map? I don't think you did you too early on. Anyway, let's get the. So here's the sort of map that's sort of based on the traditional map, and here's the new map. And I love a bit of cartography. Love maps. So you know, it's not that this is bad. It's just something that was. I think it's even by the original artist, and is pretty much the original map. But I don't know, something about it presented in black and white didn't do it for me. Whereas in these books, as it's presented here, I've seen it in other books. I've got a colour version of it somewhere that I love, but I don't know, something here I didn't like. And what we can see with the new map as well, if I just go here, here's the old. We got loads and loads of new locations. I imagine these are ones from that come in the books. Particularly of interest here is Hamelin, which is key to this book. It follows the same suit so as the books. We've established a little bit of, just in case you are new to it, what it is, and then straight into the background with the rules and adventure sheet being at the back. Adventure sheet, still not as fun as the originals, but better than what we've had before. So we're already off to a corking start. Now, this story follows. I don't want to go too much into the story of this. Ironically, I'm doing a review of Shadow of the Giants, but I don't want to talk about the story, because the problem is, the story is the whole point of buying the book, isn't it? You want to experience that for yourself, not have someone spoiling things for you. But it kind of starts off in a similar vein, really, to what Ian Livingstone's been doing before, especially with Paul's Peril, where normally your books get straight into it. So Warlock, Firetop Mountain. You're an adventure going to Firetop Mountain, Forest of Doom. You're in the Forest of Doom and you're doing an adventure. Whereas this, you start off in a town outside of adventure, and you're just bumbling around the town. Well, I say bumbling. There is a bit of focus. You decided you want to get yourself a sword, find a adventuring partner, and go on an adventure to Firetop Mountain. You heard it's empty, but there still might be a bit of cash there, a bit of treasure. So off you go. But that is not the adventure. That's not what the book's about. That's just the introduction bit. So, and that's lovely. So you're wandering around this town. I met some dwarfs. Took the older dwarf with me, and we kind of went off. I believe, can't remember where we start actually. Where did we start? You start in Anvil. That was it. So we're in Anvil. So we're over here, and we go to Firetop Mountain, and it's not soon before the adventure happens. Now, it's not too much of a spoiler to say Iron Giants, because that's the whole point of the book. So yeah, during the course of your exploration of Firetop Mountains, within a few page turns, you accidentally release the Iron Giants upon the world. From there, you have to travel to Hamelin and speak to someone to try and find some magical objects to put them to rest. That is as much as I'm going to go into the story, because it's for you to experience yourself. What I will do is carry on talking about the presentation of the book. And as I'm flipping through this, you can tell these bits of art here are already looking lush compared to what we've seen. But the art in this book, oh my goodness, okay, here we go. It's page 26. So foreground, our eyes are instantly focused here, but we're looking in the background as well, and we can see so much detail. You'll see so many little extra bits and pieces, the little sort of almost Easter eggs, almost little. It's beautiful. It is. Every one of these pictures is a work of art in itself. So we have little street urchin, again, the detail on these half timbered houses, right in his pocket. You can just look at everything and just see bits of detail, and you'll see something. They are just great. I absolutely love every picture in this book. It is such a joy. The monsters are monstrous. The characters are characterful. The wraiths are wraithy. It draws me into this world. I am now invested into this world. I'm enjoying this as an adult. As a kid, this would have been great to play. This would have been one of my all-time classics. I don't want to go too much. I mean, look at that. Dude with an ogre. Look at it, and look at the art. Look at the background. Oh, it's. So I don't want to show you too many, not all the pictures, because I want you to go and buy this and experience it yourself. You know, if you're wondering, if you've bought some of the other books, maybe Port of Peril, and you've kind of looked at it and gone, as a old fighting fantasy fan, gone, well, that's disappointing. I won't buy any more of these Scholastic books because the artwork's a bit blur. This has more than made up for it. This is probably one of the best fighting fantasy releases in years. Probably since the classic Puffing range, I would say this has gone into one of my favourite fighting fantasy books. This is right up there as a classic. And so the reason this review took so long is because I was put off of these Scholastic books myself. I just didn't see him as worth the money, whereas this I do. I love this chap. I've encountered him in the adventure. Love it. So I'm actually going to buy the other one, the one with the fish on the cover by Steve Jackson, which I forget what it's called now. I'm going to buy that and do a review of that. So basically, Shadow of the Giants, double thumbs up, because it is amazing. Thank you for watching this review. Hope you will watch the next Fighting Fantasy one. If you've got this, let me know what your thoughts are about it in the comments below. And what did you think of the previous Scholastic books? How did you feel about it? Am I wrong about the art? Do you like it? Am I missing something that I should be, changing my opinion on? Let me know in the comments below. But that's it for this one. Till the next video, guys, stay safe and take care. Bye bye.